Hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with my Wargaming channel update. This is an update that I try to do every month, but sometimes, it could be 2 months or it could be twice in a month, actually. I want to let you know what I'm doing, what's on my agenda, what I'm planning on doing, what I'm thinking about doing basically for the channel in the near future. Also, I let you know what we've already done, so if you missed it, you can look for it on the channel. And just keep you up to date on my general wargaming, miniatures, board games, role playing games, and also computer gaming. In the last month or so, I got really excited for this game called Beyond the Gates of Antares, which is a Warlord Games science fiction game. It's similar to Bolt Action, but it's more like Warlords of Erewhon, or actually, Warlords of Erewhon is more like Gates of Antares. But it's like Bolt Action using D10s and with a few other modifications. So I really got excited because I'm really into Bolt Action, and I'm also into sci-fi and fantasy. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds. And this was kind of a whole new experience, a new game. So I was kind of excited about it. I bought quite a bit of stuff. I got a Concord army, about 1,000 points, and I've got the Gar army, about 1,000 points. I saw a few of the other races. I thought I'd get a few of them, and the players are all excited about maybe playing a few games of it. And then I got informed that Gates of Antares is going into a second edition. The army lists are going to be changing. And so I kind of held back on doing any of my Gates of Antares stuff. I did some buildings. I did like the barricades and transmat pads and the transmat orbital pad. I did those together on those are Sarissa models. I put those out. I still have one more. It's the trash compactor. No, it's like the mining pods and pad. I haven't touched that yet. That's my next one to do. Okay, so as you know, we did a lot of market garden miniatures. I did the British, I did SS, Fallschirmjägers, Germans. I did American paratroopers, German paratroopers, British paratroopers, of course. And then I was getting tanks and stuff to do 30 core. And all this was going to be done in Bolt Action. We went down to the convention last August and ran 3 tables, the British, the 82nd, and the 101st. And that went over really well. And it was a lot of miniatures, a lot of terrain. And I also built terrain, buildings, trees, hedges, walls, terrain tiles. I made the tiles, the square tiles, 1-foot squares. So I did a lot for that campaign. And then I was like, okay, this is a great game. I've got miniatures for days, so I can play pretty much any battle. But do I really need like 200 German infantry models and like 20 tanks? I don't really need that for my everyday game at the house, right? So I've been thinking, and this is kind of maybe part of the channel, but maybe not. I was thinking about taking about half of my models, maybe 2/3. I'm thinking maybe 2/3 of my models and selling them on eBay, and just keeping what I probably would use on the table. Maybe keep a little bit of British, maybe keep a little bit of Americans, maybe some Germans. I don't know. But I've been thinking about just unloading my models. Because kind of like what I did with my Napoleonics, I crammed and got a ton of Napoleonics models. I did enough to do Quatre Bras and in black powder. And afterwards, I realized I would probably never use those again, so sell them. So I sold them. Uh, Now I'm running through kind of that same thing with the bolt action. Okay, another thing. I got a ton of American War of Independence models, flags, buildings, all kinds of terrain and stuff like that to be able to do a fairly large battle of American War of Independence. Uh, I'm actually thinking, this is further back in my mind, but I'm actually thinking about selling those as well. Uh, I'm trying to justify having all these models and not playing a lot of miniature gaming, right? So we do miniature gaming, but we only play about once a month, and we play a game and it doesn't have half as many as figures as I've owned, in those genres. It's good to have a lot of different varieties. That way I'll have an opportunity to do whatever type of battle. But if I only play a game once a year or once every other year, do I really even need that game? That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I need to just unload it, get rid of it. Okay, and so this is something that's been going on in my mind. Now, I came across a video on YouTube. I was looking for, I think I was looking for a bolt action game or something, but I subscribe to a group of guys in Norway. They're Tabletop Battle. I don't know if you're familiar with them. If you haven't watched any of their videos, they're hysterical. Their English is almost perfect, but there's always a few words they throw in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's funny. But they might be doing it on purpose. But these guys are really funny. They own a web store. They sell product, but they also do videos about that product to kind of the same thing I did when I owned my store. Basically, they demonstrate the game so that create interest in the game, and then maybe people will buy the game, right? And they do a lot of bolt action, a lot of it, and that's why I subscribe to them. Okay, well then they came up with this video. It's like, why is this one game different than bolt action, or what's the similarities between this game and bolt action? And I was like, there's another game out there like bolt action. Okay, cool, let me check it out, because I'm always open to something better or something different, and if I see something worse, then I know I've got I'll go to the other game, or whatever. Okay, well, the game's called 148 Tactic, not 148 Tactics. It's made in Italy. Okay, so, and I think it's just been translated. Somebody translated. They're calling it 148 Tactic. Okay, cool. 148 models are not much bigger than bolt action models. Bolt action is 28 millimeter, and if you can think of 148 scale model kits, they're about 32 millimeters. So you're looking at, a very similar height range, but there is a noticeable difference. You can stand these two types of figures side by side, and you'll be like, oh, that guy's a big man, And so I said, okay, 148, that's kind of a bigger scale, and I don't want to get too big. I wanted to go to 28s in my bolt action because I wanted a bigger scale, but I didn't want it to be so big, because a bolt action game's normally played on like a 4x6, and that 4x6, you've got about 30, 40 models per side. And I'm like, okay, that's a pretty comfortable game. But I've noticed, specifically when we went to the convention, that a 20 to 25 figure game, 30 figure game between two people took approximately 4 hours. And some of the games did not get to the final turn. So it was, once the 4 hours was up, we cut it off. Yeah, so even if the game was pretty smooth, and they were really good sportsmen, great, they did their turns rapidly or whatever, but when a game takes more than 4 hours, I consider that to be a club game. That's a game that you would play at the club, and you would take 8 hours to play or something like that, which I've played a lot of games like that in the past as well. I even played a game of Waterloo in 15 millimeter at a club where we started at like 8 in the morning or 9. We started setting up at 8 in the morning. We played at 9, but we didn't finish the game until 10, and the game wasn't even over. It was like that's when the Prussians were starting to arrive. So that was exciting. That was fun. That was a lifetime experience. That was a one-time, one in a million game. That's great. But that's not what I want to play every day, right? I don't want to play club games all the time. Club games are fun, but you got to organize them, and you got to, get people committed, and they come to the game, and you got to have it scheduled, and people have got to understand that they're going to be in one place. Like that was like over 12 hours of gaming, in one place. A lot of people aren't set up to do that. So I was looking for something like Bolt Action that might be a little bit faster. And if I was just playing my buddies and we know the rules, we can get it done in 2 hours. But when I was at the convention, I noticed it took 4 hours and we didn't even get finished. And these forces were deliberately streamlined to make it faster gameplay. I didn't include like a ton of tanks and any tank guns and flamethrowers and machine guns, even though I did have a few of those. It wasn't like I would normally play a game. I said, okay, we're doing airborne specifically because they're going to be light weapons. So let's just... Okay, I'm digressing. Okay, so 1/48 is a scale. You can go on Hobby Link or any other model company, or I can go down to Hobby Lobby probably and find 1/48 scale models. 1/48 scale models are just a little bit bigger than 28 millimeter. 28 millimeter is considered 156. So you can tell they're a little bit bigger. There was a time back when I owned my store, this was a long time ago, I had bought a bunch of Tamiya 1/32 scale models and made them, some Germans and some Americans, and I was running a game from Canada. I'm trying to remember what the name of the game was. Command and Conquer? No, it's Combined Arms or something. But either way, the game was very clunky. It had cards, and you had to flip the cards for each individual soldier, and depending on the experience level of your soldier, you would get more cards in the deck. So when you flip, and those were your initiative activations, you would flip a card, and when that card came up, your guy got to act. And like if you were a veteran, you might have got 3 cards in the deck per man, right? So you got this stack of, if you play with like 10 figures, you got a stack of like 30 cards, and the Germans have the same, and they're all shuffled into this one 60 card deck. It's huge. And then you turn it over. Hans gets to do something. John Smith does something, or whatever. And that took forever. That was supposed to be a man-to-man game, but it was like, and it was also a bean counter game. So I only got 15 rounds. So when I shoot, I use up 3 bullets, mark off 3 bullets. No, I got a grenade, mark it off, and no, I didn't like that. So I went to other games, and then I found Bolt Action. I thought it was a happy compromise. But now when I went, and the reason why I went with those big figures is because you could find every freaking tank in that scale. You can find, there's tons of diorama stuff. There's, you could get like 00 train stuff, and it would be perfect, right? So I was like, okay, this sounds really cool. Let's do it. But I only did it and then I scratch built some buildings. They were giant, but they're, the problem with that game, not only the clunkiness, but you'd have to use a whole table to make a battlefield because the figures are so large. So let's get back to 1/48 scale. 1/48 scale is almost 28 millimeter. It's just a little bit bigger, but it's also a model scale. So there are diorama kits, there's planes, there's tanks, there's jeeps, there's figures, and they're posable. And they've got rifles and all kinds of extra gizmos and gadgets. And then you can find sandbags, and you can find pretty much everything in 148 scale. You just got to look around. So 148 scale is a really good scale, but it's also too big. You can't play like a bolt action game with 48 millimeter, or not 48 millimeter, they're 48 scale, which is like 32 millimeter, because it would just make the battlefield seem even smaller as a bolt action game. So I found this 148 scale video, right? 148 scale video. And I was like, what is this game? I think I've heard of it before, but I'm not sure. It's published by Boeta, which is, like I said, an Italian model company. They make a lot of resin model stuff. And I recognize the name because when I was playing Field of Glory, I would get Boeta like tents and fountains and stuff like that for my campsites, which is like a headquarters piece for your army. And it's like an objective. Your opponent should try to take your campsite or something like this. I'm trying to remember, but I remember I bought a bunch of tents and stuff from that company for that game. And so I said, okay, and their stuff looked really good. So I said, I'll take a look at this video. So I watched these guys play, and they weren't experts at the game. That's fine. I can look past a rule that's not done right or whatever. I get it. So I'm watching this video, and I'm kind of absorbing what's actually happening. What's happening is you have like 4 models, not 30 and a tank and an anti-tank gun and machine gun and mortar and all this bullshit. You have 4 men. 4 men. 4 men. With their individual weapons. But what's even better, they each have their own individual abilities, because each man has a card. He's named. So basically, you're playing a game where everyone is a hero model. Some are better at certain things than others, which you would expect. Why have this guy if why have all the same guys when each one's got his own unique characteristic? So like one might be a good sniper, another might be a really good close combat guy, or whatever. And I'm just saying that up. So I was like, okay, so I've got like 4 guys, but that's going to be a boring game. This is what I'm thinking. That's going to be a boring game. There's only going to be 4 dudes, right? And you're just going to roll a couple of dice and you'll be dead. No, it's not like that. You got actions, and you got to pick your model that you're going to put an action on. You get these action tokens. And then that model can either move as an action, or he could shoot as an action, or he could and you can like move up to 3 times. So I could put 3 actions on a guy and he would move. And I was like, okay, so I could put and you only get like 5 actions a turn. So I was like, if I put 3 actions on that one guy, I'm only going to have 2 actions left, and I can't everybody's not going to get an action, right? So I was like, oh, so there's a little strategy involved where you have to decide who you're going to move, when you're going to move them, where you're going to move them. Are they going to shoot, or are they going to move? Are they going to aim and shoot? Well, not everybody can aim and shoot. Are they going to try to get in close combat, or are they going to throw a grenade? Well, hold on. Who's got grenades? Well, some of the models have grenades, unlimited grenades. That's their special ability. But if you don't have that, you don't have any grenades. You have these tokens that you put on their little card saying, hey, this is the guy that's carrying the smoke grenade, or this is the guy carrying the frag grenade, right? And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And I didn't see any heavy weapons, no machine guns, no bazookas, no Panzerfausts, none of that BS. Just 4 dudes with some kind of handgun, rifle, submachine gun, Sturmgewehr or something, right? And you got like Thompsons and M1 Grands and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, that they've only got 2 armies out right now. They've got the U.S. paratroopers, and which are all 101st, and then they have the 26th Volksgrenadiers, which I was like, what? Nice. A lot of people don't know this, but the 26th Volksgrenadiers was the main attack against Bastogne during the Ardennes. So they kind of hinted at they're focusing on the Ardennes right now. Okay, now hold on. I was like, okay, so far I like the game mechanics. Looked at the game mechanics, they seem pretty cool. And you only have to have 4 models per your army. 4 models. That's it. That's all you need. Now, they have additional optional figures that you could buy if you want. And they're only like $6 a piece, maybe $5 a piece. And you get their token, you get their metal model, and it's not a 28 millimeter, it's like a 32 millimeter. And you get a bunch of tokens. Okay. The box set. The box set, it was only like $40. Okay. And it has 4 models. But it also has 4 terrain pieces. And these terrain pieces are giant resin models in 1/48 scale. One of the, like the German box set has like a wrecked Kubelwagen or whatever. And I was like, wow, man, a wrecked Kubelwagen in resin. Yeah, whatever. You can't use it. It's cover. But I looked on HobbyLink at Kubelwagons. Those are like $15. And I'm like, I could actually just get a Kubelwagen. And then I think about it. Like when you go to Warlord or something like that for their 28 millimeter Kubelwagen, you're paying like $30, you know? And then they've got half tracks for like $18, $19. And I'm like, the price is better when you're buying a model kit, not a gaming model, right? So 48 millimeter tank was like $20. Okay. They had like the M10. He was like $20, $22 or something like that. But this game, 148 Tactic, doesn't have any tanks or Kubelwagen rules or anything like that. Those would just be showpieces, terrain, obstacles on the table or something like that. All right, so I looked at it and I was like, okay, whatever. You know, you're looking at paying like $50. I think they're 36 euros. Comes out to about $40 or something like that. And then you pay shipping and handling. It comes out to about $50. So I'm thinking, okay, I bought 2 armies. I told you right now, I've already bought 2 armies. They come with quick start rules, so they don't actually have the full rules in them. The full rules you can get for 19 euros. Where else can you get a game for 19 euros? It's a nice 60-page or whatever rule book. And I've already read it. Because my friend and I, Mike, he's got the PDF. He went to the drive-through RPG or whatever and got the PDF of the game. And I have a copy of it, and I read it already. It took me 2 nights because I read the first half in one night and the second half in the next night while watching videos. And it was pretty easy to grasp. The cover rules are not complicated. The movement rules are not complicated. Nothing in the game is super complicated. It's supposed to be a fast-paced game. If you have 4 figures, and I have 4 figures, and we got 8 pieces of terrain on a table, which is only 2 feet by 2 feet, the game should last about 30 minutes to an hour if you're slow, right? You can play with more models. You and your opponent can agree to a point value, and you can play with more than 4 figures if you want. And those games might take longer or what have you. They're even working on. They've got a forum where they're working on heavy weapons like machine guns and anti-tank guns and tanks, and they're calling it like Achtung Panzer. It's like it's a playtest rules. I got those. I got those from the forum. I've been reading them. I haven't had a chance to play the game because I just ordered it like 2 nights ago, and I suspect coming from Italy, it's going to be over 10 days. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So by the end of the month, I'll have these models in my hand, and this is where it comes back to the channel. I'll have these models and the rule book and the terrain and all that, and then we'll do some reviews of the game, and we'll do some test runs and play testing, and I'll get some friends over and we'll play some dice, and we'll get these games to you so you can see what they're all about. And then last night, I couldn't hold it in. I went and got all of the extra models from the Americans and the Germans. There's like 3 models. They're like $5 a piece. I got 3 models from each faction. So I'm going to have a total of 7 models per faction, which is more than you need. 7 models is all you get. Now they have plans to do a whole bunch of different factions like Russians and British and Italians and not just the Ardennes, but they're talking about like the desert and Normandy beaches and all that stuff. So eventually all that stuff's going to come around and we're going to be like, yay, boom. But I went and I looked at all their terrain because Bueta, that's what they make. They make terrain. That was how I've always thought of them. But they have these specific I-48 tactic terrain pieces, and they were like €5 a piece or whatever. I bought like 10 of them or something like that. I don't remember what I bought, but I bought a bunch of them. And which means I'm real close to having their complete line of everything they offer. And then I told my boss today, I think I got a problem. I'm buying stuff that I have never even played the game. But when it comes in, we'll see if it's any good. I hope it is. I think it is, from what I can tell. I recommend you go into Tabletop Battles, and it's their YouTube channel, and looking up I-48, and see if you can't. It looks like I-48 when you and I, we know it's 148 scale, and watching some of the videos and learning, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so now let's talk about. You know that I've got this Gates of Antari stuff, but I pretty much have put that on hold because of the 2nd edition. So I'm waiting for 2nd edition before I jump back into the Gates of Antares. In the meantime, what you probably have seen me do is build those buildings, but also I did some D&D models. So you might have seen like a Remoraz, a Shambling Mound, and some Slads. I did those. Some unique painting techniques on those guys. So you should check that out and see. I'm not sure if I really like all the painting techniques that I used on those models, but I keep seeing something flashing like right there, right about there on my screen. You know, when I move my head around, it flashes like right in there. Okay. Sorry. I'm also probably going to be selling some models, getting rid of a lot of my bolt action stuff. Not getting rid of bolt action because that's a great game. Great game. I just have too many models. I just have too much. So they're all painted and stuff. So I'm going to let you guys benefit if you're interested in that. I'm going to be putting those up on eBay probably before the end of the month. All right, let's talk computer gaming. Okay, so I've been playing a game called Phoenix Point. I played it for a bunch, switched campaigns, played it a bunch when it came out with a backer build 5. And then it glitched out on me and the saved games wouldn't load and stuff like that. So I had to restart my game, and then that glitched out for a while. So now I think I'm going to, and it comes out December 3rd, so it's going to be coming out really soon. So I think I'm going to play some really long form games instead of the 30-minute. Okay, I've been playing like one mission, and then I would cut the video off, and then I would play one mission and cut the video off, and that way I could upload one mission at a time, which wound up being about 30 minutes. I think I'm going to play 3 or 4 hours and upload about an hour and a half, or an hour to an hour and a half. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. So it's probably going to be 2 or 3 missions at a time because we don't have that much time to get to before the live release comes out, which is December 3rd. You can pre-order that game right now. It's a lot like XCOM, but kind of with some Lovecraftian models or whatever. It's and it's really a dark world. I don't know if I like the game mechanics and the graphics are great, but I don't know if I like the story so much. That's me. But it's different. It's new. It's something I don't normally play. I play a lot of XCOM, or used to, and this is by the original designer of XCOM, Julian Gallup. He's making Phoenix Point. You should look into it if you haven't heard about it. Okay. I'm also playing some War Thunder. Now, I don't record War Thunder, every now and then I do, actually, but I don't do a lot of War Thunder videos. Mainly because recently I've really become disenchanted by War Thunder. I was the biggest War Thunder fan there ever was. I was out there recruiting for an organization. We were doing flight schools and techniques, and I was training the noobs and stuff like that in War Thunder on how to fly a plane, what's the best way to approach a bomber, and what's the best way to get on someone's tail, and blah, 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 right? Okay. War Thunder has moved beyond what I enjoy. I enjoy World War II, as you can tell from Bolt Action and 148 Tactic. But there's a time period that is World War II. There's a little bitty time period before World War II, which is like the pre-war vehicles, which they're okay, but I'm like, whatever. I understand those are like free and easy to get into the game, but then when you start hitting World War II, that's when it's great. And then after World War II, there was this little piece after World War II that was like post-war stuff, or hypothetical stuff. And I was like, that's okay. I'll go along with it. Korean War, whatever. That's fine. But then they expanded it even more to Vietnam or whatever. And then they expanded it even more. So you're looking at like World War III. I'm expecting futuristic vehicles next. But they've created like tow missiles and, air-to-air missiles and radar lock-ons and bullshit is what it is. And when you're playing in the late war, World War II vehicles, you're almost always pulled into one of these modern matches. I'm running around in a King Tiger, a Tiger II, right? King Tiger, running around against Leopards, against Abrams, Challengers. What the hell? T-72s against a frickin' King Tiger. That's not right. And so I'm like, Gaijin, what the fuck are you guys doing? Why are you letting this happen? They say that the Tiger is really good and this BMP is really bad. So we'll put them in the same match. No, a BMP is a modern vehicle. Even if it's the worst modern vehicle, which it's not, but even if it was the worst modern vehicle, I shouldn't even be engaging it. It should not be in the same game. They need to have War Thunder modern, War Thunder World War II. That's what they need, right? And then there's no crossover at all. That crossover period is killing me. It's killing my enjoyment of the game. I'm flying around, in my B-17, and then some MiG-17 flies up and blows me away. No, what the hell? Where'd this frickin' guy come from? Did he come through the Final Countdown? No. I'm flying in my Zero, and then some Tomcat flies by. You get the reference. Okay, but no, that's the way I felt, and I'm not into that hypothetical bullshit. I want to play some World War II. More importantly, I wish, and this is me just wishing, and I put this on their forums a couple of times. I gave up. World War I. That would be so much easier to implement, couple of machine guns, couple of canvas wings, whatever. Much slower fly speeds. If you don't want to play in a World War I game, don't play in your World War II game. That's fine. Play in your modern game. That's fine. But I really dig World War I aircraft. I really do. There's so many good aircraft. And yeah, so I don't know. And they've made comments in their forums that no, we're not planning on going in World War I direction. I really wish they did, because it would be so much more enjoyable than this bullshit when you're flying along and you get this anti-air missile lock on and they shoot and boom, you blow up, because not only is it doesn't have to hit you, but all it has to do is fly near you because it's got a proximity explosion fuse. And here's another thing. I think their mechanics are bullshit as well, because they'll fire a cannon at you, bang, one bullet, it'll hit you, and both your wings will pop off. Puke. What? It doesn't even make sense. When I first started, maybe 4 years ago, War Thunder, I was like, whoa, this is like awesome, this is cool, the graphics are cool, and the mechanics of the game is cool, and all that is cool. And then they started introducing a bunch of bullshit. And so, I don't know, I'm just done with War Thunder. I play it, I still log in, but guess what? I play in with my Wildcat. Even if you upgrade me, I'm not going to be against a jet. or I'll fly a Buffalo or a Corsair, and I don't mean an A7. I'm talking about an F4U. Okay, so you're not going to see a whole lot of War Thunder videos on there. Lastly, I play a lot of Star Citizen. When I say a lot of Star Citizen, I'm talking about one game a week. To me, that's a regular game session. I have like a scheduled game session, Star Citizen. I would stream it. It'd be like an hour or two. And then I would move on with my life. Lately, with the newest patch, the 3.7.1, not 3.7.2 so much, but with 3.7.1 when it came out, they introduced so many different fixes and upgrades to the game that I enjoy playing it 2 or 3 times a week, right? So hopefully, the more and more that they introduce into the Star Citizen, the more and more I'm going to play it, because I left MechWarrior Online and War Thunder to dedicate myself to Star Citizen. That's a topic of another story, but I am streaming Star Citizen probably twice a week, and none on the War Thunder. Okay, I set up a website. If you guys didn't know, we've got a website called mreverything.org, mreverything.org. You can join. You can find out what we're doing. We've got a calendar there. We've got some forums. I've got some tutorial videos on there. That was going to be for everything I game. It was going to be my website where I game War Thunder, I game City Heroes, I game Star Citizen, I game who knows what. But I've decided it's not going to be that anymore. Mainly, I set it up for 2 games. That's City of Heroes and Star Citizen. I'm a City of Heroes freak. I love City of Heroes from way back when. And when they released the new City of Heroes servers that you can actually play in, I was super excited. They are even doing the holiday events, like they did Halloween events and stuff like that. But I found that hindsight is not 2020. It's like it's jaded. I look back at City Heroes like, wow, that was really fun. But now when I log in, it is fun, but I've moved on, or I've grown, or gotten tired of it. So I will play City Heroes every now and then, but I'm not dedicating any time to an organization. I did initially say, oh, we got to do this organization. We got to reinvigorate team freedom and all that. No, really we don't. I'm going to one of these days, I don't know when, I haven't logged into City Heroes in probably 2 weeks. I'm going to log in and just disband the organization because I'm not into City Heroes as big as I thought it was going to be. I don't want City Heroes to take any time away from my Star Citizen organization. So yeah, so you're not going to see a lot of City Heroes videos or me streaming City Heroes. I might play every now and then. I might stream a game. Um, I had planned to do a bunch of tutorials on how to play City Heroes, but I found that these players that are logging into play don't care. They don't care about watching a tutorial or learning how to play City Heroes. I would talk to them like how to play a tank, and they don't care. They don't want to hear what I have to say. So I've decided I'm not going to bother with those tutorials. I really wanted to do them because these players really need to know because they're idiots. But I said no. I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to continue to make my miniature game tutorials, and I'm going to continue to make my Star Citizen tutorials. War Thunder, no more, and City Heroes, no more. I'm going to adjust the website. Right now, it's still kind of City Heroes, Star Citizen themed. You're going to see the City Heroes start to fade away into the black, and it's just going to be Star Citizen. And I'm going to get rid of any reference to any other game on there. I might have a section for all other games, so it'll be like a generic section, and then Star Citizen will have the majority of the website. So that's something that I'm working on. If you want to join my community, go there and help me out there and participate in any of the events we're having and stuff like that. That'd be great. If you're interested in joining an organization, I only have one organization. It's going to be, and it always has been, the 1st Naval Aerospace Squadron in Star Citizen. We used to have the 1st Naval Air Squadron in War Thunder. No more. I disbanded that a while back. And City Heroes was Team Freedom. We're going to get rid of that. So, Phoenix Point, War Thunder, Star Citizen, City Heroes. Ship of Heroes is coming out real soon, but I don't know when, so I can't quote on that. And Xenonauts 2 is coming out. Don't know when that's going to happen. Can't quote on that. And I think that's about it, really. Yeah. I learned something about my computer. This is just an off-topic subject. I have some hard drives, right? I got multiple hard drives, and they each have a SATA cable, and they each are plugged into multiple SATA ports on my motherboard. And I wanted to get an M.2, so I got an M.2. I installed it into my motherboard, and then my computer just went to crap. Right as soon as I added the M.2, my computer just freaked out and didn't load properly. I had to uninstall a bunch of stuff, reinstall a bunch of stuff, get Windows back up and running, and that took me a whole night to do. I go to work the next day. Guess what? Remember, guys, I work at Geek Squad. Okay, so I get to work, and I explain to my supervisor, I was like, hey, this happened to me last night. Why did this happen to me? Because I thought I knew what I was doing, right? And he's like, how many ports do you have on your motherboard? I said 6. And I only have like 4 hard drives plugged in. Well, actually 3 hard drives and a CD drive. Why do I have a CD drive? I don't know. But I've got this plugged in. And he's like, but the 3rd hard drive that I plug in just doesn't show up. They couldn't find it. You know, it had Windows on it and everything. It said, no, there's no Windows on this computer. And then I had to reinstall Windows and all that. And he was like, well, when you install it M.2, that usually disables 1 or 2 of your SATA ports on your motherboard. And I was like, what? Yeah. So if you have that hard drive plugged into one of those disabled SATA ports, it won't see it. It'll be disabled because you got an M.2 instead. And I was like, what the hell? So, I went in, looked inside and I was like, oh crap, look at that. These two over here are the ones that are disabled, and that's the one where my Windows disk was plugged in. Okay, so I unplugged it, plugged it into one of the ones that aren't disabled, and lo and behold, it works. Learn something every day. So, yeah, I didn't know that I would disable two of my SATA ports by putting one M.2 in. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it. You're not going to see a lot of miniature videos because I'm waiting for the 148s to come in. But you will see quite a bit of computer gaming and maybe some terrain building. I might build some terrain, but also you might, see my shelf start to thin out if I start selling stuff on eBay. All right, guys, thanks for coming out and checking out my channel update. And if you have any suggestions or any desires for me to do something, a specific direction, a specific game you might want me to look at or something like that, or if you know I have that game and you want to hear my opinion about that game, or if you want me to clarify some rules about that game or something like that, drop it in the comments. I read them. I read the comments. I don't reply to every comment, but I read every comment. I'll see you next time.